back. Come on. Fly. Let's go, boy. Good boy. Okay. First up is Fort Lauderdale. They're going to give you a report back. So go ahead. Tell us what's next, guys.
All right. So the first step for me is trying to decipher a major road here. Okay, that's the first step for me.
Identifying champions, you guys.
Okay. Identify champions and the steering committee. So that would be our first step. So the persons responsible are Major, Mike, and of course the advisory board. The timeline is within 3 months. And how will we know we're successful and we have achieved what we're looking for? It will be the level of commitment that we have, or will we find and identify our champions? Of course, we want some dollars, right? That's the whole idea. So we also want to complete an actionable feasibility study, and I think that's the operating word of actionable, something that we can actually go and do. So again, Major and Mike are going to be very busy, as well as WPO and our advisory board, and we are going to achieve this within the next 3 months, at the same time as we're doing identifying the champions. And then we will know that we have achieved the goal when we move into our capital campaign phase, and we achieve 30% of what we do. So the architecture construction documents should be going at the same time, so we can use those documents to talk to our future donors that we are serious about what we're doing, and they can have an idea of how this is going to look like and how it's going to operate. And of course, then is the capital campaign. Again, the persons or entities responsible will be WPO, the steering committee, the advisory board, and me. So that will be accomplished within 6 to 12 months. And of course, we will know that we have achieved that when we reach our goal of $17.5 million. And our idea is to get within the next 5 years. 5 years? Pledge? Maybe that's too long. We gotta do shorter than that.
No. It's a 5-year pledge system. You can already build it and celebrate the building. Money keeps coming in.
May also be for operation.
You haven't done this before.
Yeah,
So you're not
actually, I
asking
have.
people to
That has a residual effect. We're make a 5-year pledge.
You are asking people to
Yes.
make a 5-year plan.
Yes, we're looking
That's
for money.
very unusual in the industry. So you just get them shorter and longer.
Give $100,000 a year.
Yeah. Well, we're the old school was 5-year pledge.
I think she's
We're
right.
gonna wait on our management company to advise us after the feasibility study.
I
on
just
that.
did a campaign in 1 year. It was raised, just because, anyway, so you can do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, in your feasibility study, I guess, or your
Yeah.
consultant will help you know
Exactly.
who can move out or.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we will also need to secure our contract, who are gonna be doing for the actual work. And again, Major, the advisory board, DHQ, and DHQ will be responsible for that. And we will accomplish that within 24 months. And we will know that when we actually,
Breaking ground.
when we actually break ground, when we actually sign a contract with the contractor and then we break ground, right? So we gotta do that. And then we will have our 3-phase construction. We obviously need to relocate our clients, which is gonna be, part of my responsibility at the advisory board.
her house.
So we will do that again before we break ground within the 24-month window. And we will know that when our clients have moved out, so we can do what we need, and then we move them back to the shelter once we have completed the work, and of course, maybe
So who does the first thing after we leave here today? Because these are 3 months, 6 months, 24 months, we get that.
Yeah.
What happens after today?
Well, we iron out where we're at right now. We're already implementing this as we speak. We're finding champions, and we have one. We need 2 or 3 more champions, and then they'll develop a steering committee.
And how many beds is this going to, or people will this provide for in the housing industry?
Well, we have an expansion and rehab.
Right.
So rehab is about $5 million. Expansion is about $6.5 million. And then in addition to that, we have endowment to help function on years to come. And then we're going to help out with the Adult Rehabilitation Center, a $2 million project there.
So your campaign has at least four big components that you just outlined.
Yes.
So your campaign person, and you've done this before, obviously in lots of places, we may be looking at even different audiences.
Sure, absolutely.
Because some people could care less about expanding. So it's going to be fascinating with that multifaceted campaign. That's
But we're gonna add anywhere between 80 to 120 additional capacity
That's
for
where I was
shelter.
going to go.
Yes,
That's the
on
big-
the expansion part.
Yeah, that's the big community story, it feels like. Right?
That is, yeah. I mean, we're not gonna sell rehab, but if you go by the building, you know it's 30 years plus, and it needs to be rehab.
I'm sorry, I'm asking all the questions.
No, I was
That's
just loving the fact that you're leaving.
No.
And we could use your help, you know? If you wanna come back and help us out with this.
Well, you know what, I think what's neat about this is you were hiring a firm to do this kind of work for you. You've got your own work that you've done now, you own this.
Right.
And it's gonna, I think you guys have a good plan. It's gonna really take off
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So, let's hear it before water. Before anybody,
I got a quick question on the timeline. You know, if I looked at this plan a month from now, I'm like, oh, it's good, 3 months, 5 months. It doesn't really mean that much other than if you would add a date saying, hey, by June 1st, 2023. I know if I'm falling behind.
What's today's date?
Or
What's
not.
today's date?
February 23rd.
All right, 3 months from now.
No, I'm just saying, I'm
No,
not
that's
just
true.
critiquing it that way that.
Yeah, that's good.
It'd be better to have a date.
But not on campaigns I would base on.
They do.
Or just
And
put a
I
date on
realize
that.
this is a
That
draft,
would give
you
you.
know.
But
Yeah.
gotta have. You know what I'm saying,
Gotta have
put
benchmarks,
put
goals.
today's date on that and then you
It'll
look
give
at
you a
it.
date.
If he puts today's date on that, then he can say,
Yeah.
oh wow, we're past 3 months with you.
Yeah, we've got to have accountability and benchmarks and everything.
So here's something I want you to know is we want to send out to everybody in this room, we want to send out the results that we're putting up today, these what next plans. So everybody in this room will be able to see it.
Right.
And it'll come out, so that they'll say we said 3 months from now. So you guys will have some dates to go with.
Mike and I.
Would you give us a booklet? If you find that your name is not already, thank you. If your name is not already down here with an email address, we need to get everybody's email address in the room. I'm going to start with Fort Lauderdale.
Ours is all in there.
Is it all in there?
Yeah.
Nobody skipped? Clyde's not on here.
Clyde is on there.
Yeah. No, he doesn't have an email. You got my card.
You got his
So
card.
look on your city.
Steve was just trying to answer something.
Yes, go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is our one champion, who is the COO of Subway, right, joined our board recently, 3 months ago, with the idea to help us out with this project. He was on a campaign for his college in town, and that campaign was $750 million.
Wow.
And he was a part of the steering committee of that.
That's awesome.
So we have one champion. I think we'll be able to get maybe 2 or 3 out of him.
That's
And we're
awesome.
meeting with him today.
Yeah.
So please keep that in your
Well, I
mind.
know you're going to be, and we will. Also, I want you to know that our next session is going to be May 9th and 10th, right back here again. And this is a time for you all to be thinking about what team members do we need to bring to this final meeting to be around the table to make sure that our project has a great chance of success. So think about who you're going to recruit and get those names to Angela early, because Angela puts all the plans together for all the logistics that happen from handouts to food. So, you'll want to make sure she knows who's coming. So when she sends you an email asking for names, you know, we gotta begin to come up with those. So start early.
And Major Henry, we need to have our replacements in July with this vision.
You mean name? You need to know name.
That would be good if we know who they are. Oh,
Well,
we
you
will know.
We will know.
We will. Yeah,
It
okay.
wouldn't be bad. That's really a good thing. It would be
Yeah.
really good to
Have them come to this meeting.
I think that's a splendid idea, because that's a good
That's
handout
forward
for
thinking right
time.
there.
That's it.
And you know what I like about that is Steve's thinking ahead. What you said. We found that sometimes Salvation Army officers, when they're transferred, begin just to pack up and get ready to move, and they're thinking about their next place, and they're not thinking about the legacy they're leaving behind. You're thinking about your legacy.
Well, we've always said
That's so
finish strong.
important.
Yeah.
Finish
That's a
strong.
good idea.
I
Finish
like
strong.
that.
It's a good idea.
I like that.
And my soccer coach, he would stand in the middle of the field, and after running 6 miles, you had to run from one goalpost to the next. And if we didn't sprint and give it everything we had to run another 6 miles.
I like you even better.
And in the middle of the field, he would say, "Finish strong!" And
What did you play?
I was a striker.
Well, I was a midfielder. I would have given you the ball to score every day.
I love it.
Okay. Good job. Good job, you guys. Great job. Miami, come on up.
Thank you.
Miami. Yeah, Miami. All right. Come on.
You're explaining it.
Oh, I'm doing it.
How come y'all never put your name on this?
I need to.
I'm sorry. I've been folding it. I'll write it. And do you want to write it in?
I get this.
One, we're going to complete our marketing material for most of this is about to pass over the vote. So we're going to complete our marketing material. The person responsible for it is Johanna tomorrow. And we're going to get it done within 2 weeks. See, we put ASAP, and then we said, no, that don't work. We're going to put it 2 weeks. So we could put a date on that too.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can figure.
3:10. Yeah.
Completed work by 3:10.
There you go.
Okay. The next is what, because we talked about this a little yesterday, but we'll talk about it again. Because we have 3 corps in Miami, we want to get the corps officers involved in all that we're doing when it comes to fundraising. Because one day they're going to have to leave and go to run their own corps. So we want them to have some of that training, and they already have expert people to work with. So this would be a perfect time. So they're going to meet with them once a month. And my wife is in charge of the corps, so Caitlin and Major Captain's going to be with them. Our first meeting will be on 3/28. We have a meeting with them every month. The fourth Tuesday, but we're not going to do it this one, so we can get them ready for it. We're going to explain it to them and then have a meeting.
At 9 a.m.
Yes.
So how do we measure success?
It comes from our core our
Core
area committee
Yeah.
calendar that we
made it happen. Yes.
that we had in our last.
And engage our core leaders. How do we have success? They've been engaged. They've been engaged and we get them. Hire one social service worker. The whole reason that Johanna's been here for this time that we came was that this right here is to sucker me into saying yes to hire another king.
So you've already met your, how will we measure success?
So we're going to hire a new case manager for the Pathway of Hope. That means we can take on 25 more families.
That's fabulous.
And so we're going by faith that the development directors are going to raise the money to pay for that person.
No pressure.
We're going to try to do that within 6 weeks, but boy, it's hard to hire anybody today.
You know
Yeah.
it is. It really is.
Hired and trained.
Pray for us.
Interfaith Roundtable, Michelle showed up today. She was here
Yes.
last time, and we're glad that she made
Amazing,
it
that's
back.
lovely, amazing.
Michelle and Johanna and Caitlin are going to work by the end of April for our Interfaith Roundtable to start getting these churches to come on board and work with us, whether that's making donations, whether that's making giving up referrals, and how can we let the faith base out there know what we're doing and how they can be a part of it. Instead of them having to reinvent the wheel and do something themselves, they can be a part of us and have successes with us.
Yeah. If you're letting them know how you're going to help them be successful.
Exactly, yes. Good way to put that. Stay on track. So we talked about in our group how if we just leave here at 2 o'clock and we go home and we throw this paper away, then nothing happens. So stay on track. I'm going to be in charge of that. I'm going to be in charge of all these updates, and I'm going to bring it. And we decided also that the meetings that because of the first meeting, the meetings that we had between the social service department and the development department, we're doing those twice a month already. And in that meeting, we're going to bring this whole paper back to them to say where. And then we just weren't finished enough, so we decided to go about development strategy for stakeholders. This probably should have been, we talked about this first thing this morning. Caitlin and Alicia's going to work on that by the end of March and confirm some contacts. So we're going to do this with Pat, excuse me, the lovely. Lovely.
Fantastic, amazing. You are.
Just a lovely guy.
We think I yesterday too.
When do we get?
First, and he's like, you forgot.
At Miami Gardens City Council, they don't clap, they do this. Everybody do this.
That's right.
But when do we get to meet the lovely?
How about when we meet the quiet Reggie?
Just for that, I'm leaving.
Any questions anybody want to talk about? We have a fantastic group that came. I'm so proud of everyone. So thank you for being here. I'll say that again before we leave. But anybody want to say anything about our list of what's next? All right.